Can you imagine a revolutionized space where students go to school, acquire a degree, and leave with a skill that makes them very instrumental and very effective on the job market? Yes, I yearn for such a time, and I believe that you too do. And in today's episode of AAU Talks, I'll be talking to Reverend Johnny Ocquaye, who has set the pace in turning higher education, not only from that theoretical degree space, but also a skill development space. And we'll talk more into the beginning of this idea and why there is a need for a skill development integration in the degree acquisition space. Stay with me, I'll be right back on AAU Talks. I'm glad to have you back on AAU Talks, the voice of higher education. My name is Ajiman Otrodako, and before we went on the break, I was telling you about the need for skills development as part of our degree acquisition, as a course to revolutionize our higher education space. And with me to discuss this topic is the very own Reverend Johnny Ocquaye. Rev, you're welcome to AAU Talks.
Thank you for having me.
Great. Rev is the founder and I would say the leader of the African Freelancers College.
TAF College.
Absolutely. I like the name TAF College, you know.
Yeah.
But let's start with a vision with a point of call. What has been your top need to discuss the challenges within the African higher education space? From your point of view, when you go to bed, when you wake up and you're thinking about what is wrong with the African higher education space, what are the factors you count on these areas?
I think the biggest problem is job readiness and employability. Some of the universities in Ghana, you apply to do business administration and you don't get a place. They put you in geography and history.
Yeah.
And it just feels like they just want to fill up their classes. So they just put you on anything, like linguistics. What do you do with linguistics when you graduate? We're living in a very specialized age of AI, digital literacy, and that sort of thing. And if you do not have those skills in this job market, you'll be just a repository of information, okay, of academic learning, but then, you are not ready for the job market. And I believe the reason why we go to school is to learn something so we can get a job or to start a business.
Sure.
And if those two things are not met, then what is the point?
That's very important.
Yeah.
You think that we're just trying to just fill spaces?
At times it looks like it, yes. Because I have a boy who comes to my church and he wanted to do, I think, business information systems, but they wouldn't let him on. And I said, what are you doing? He goes, history and geography. And that is totally different from what he wanted to do. So what does a person do when he graduates? He has no passion at all in that industry, but he has been to university to go and learn that thing. I know, people say university are transferable skills. If you could do that, you could do that. But the danger is when you come out with such a degree with no passion, one, you don't get good grades, and two, you become a second-class citizen. What is a second-class citizen? If I'm looking for someone in the banking industry and you come with history, who would I take? I'm going to be employing the person with the closest skills, to that, role that I'm looking for.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of university graduates who are sitting at home and they have nothing to do because of what they studied. They're broke. They have acquired so much debt from going to school, and they're frustrated. Yeah. What do you do? How do we, clean this up and make it more important, or make it more beneficial for the students when they graduate?
There's been a long argument about the relevance of universities, technical universities, and also the TVET institutions, about who is relevant upon graduation. The one who go to school purposely to acquire skill, the one who goes to acquire that theoretical understanding to make an impact. Today, we're arguing, we're telling who's relevant in this case. Do you feel that there are some gaps within these three phases of theoretical knowledge and practical knowledge? Or there's a need to marry them both and make them present in all these three?
I think a blended approach will be perfect. I mean, I'm a pastor, so I do a lot of, I operate with kingdom principles. Now, we had a guy called Apostle Paul, who was a Pharisee, a lawyer. Okay, but when he became a Christian, he had to quit, being a Pharisee, and he became
A tent maker.
a tent maker. So if he didn't have a skill as a tent maker, what would he have done? Because the Jews would not accept him anymore in the synagogues. So having a blended approach, so you notice that even Jesus, the Son of God, was a carpenter. So acquiring those skills right from the get-go is very important. If you're in London, predominantly most people can do carpentry work. They do electric. When they put lights in Ghana, the average person has to call an electrician. In America, the average person can do it themselves. So a blended approach is always very, very, very important. I was reading something the other day. I went on YouTube and I watched a video about Achimota School. I'm an alumni, by the way. And when they came, Gagensberg and those people, they really emphasized on a blended approach. So people will be doing basket weaving and also doing chemistry. But now it seems like we have just taken all of that stuff out of our curriculum and let's just focus on just head knowledge. And that is just not good enough. We need to have a blended approach because not everyone will become a lawyer. Not everyone will become a doctor. Not everyone will become a pharmacist. However, how do we get the thing whereby those who don't make it there can also excel here? And I think, that's the way forward at the moment. Yeah.
Do you feel we have come a long way to sit back and then rethink that we have to reinvent the wheel and then change the whole higher education system? Or there is a way that we can still go with the same wheel and then find a way to bring in new things that will spice up the future, make the young people relevant?
I think what we need to first understand is the learning styles of people. There's always the kinesthetic approach. There's always the visual approach. All depends on the learner. Okay, we have some kids with learning disabilities. Okay, so if you just do the chalk and talk, it won't work with them. And it seems like, especially, I can only talk from a personal perspective. When I was in Achimota School, it was more of a, regimented, write notes. That was old school. Things have changed. I'm a dyslexic student, by the way. I work with audio. Okay, so if you take audio out of if you're trying to get me to write and listen, you've lost me because I can't do the two at the same time.
Okay.
So what worked for me when I was in London or in America was when I always worked with my lecturers and they gave me notes. So I'm focused on, they gave me handouts. I'm focused on him and just writing just the most important things on a piece of paper. I think when we have the blended approach, I think it works better. Because what we need to understand is we cannot just do things in a one way and leaving other people out. So we need to have a very inclusive education system that focuses on skills development, okay, which is pretty much very applied, very practical for people like myself who don't like too much theory. We just need just enough theory to just keep me going. But however, we focus on more of the practical elements. And you learning, being more of a practical person, doesn't make you more smarter than the person who is theoretical. And the person who's theoretical doesn't make you more smarter than the person who is practical. But unfortunately, the world in which we live in right now is a world that is run by, vertical thinkers. So the horizontal person like myself, who are more right-hand brain thinkers, are kind of frowned upon because we vacillate very quickly from A to D to Z, and we're not structured. We just go for it. We run. You know, and my wife is literally the opposite of me. She is very, you know, she's a director of nursing, and she's very, you know, regimented. You know, you can't go to B until A is done. So we complement each other so well in my home, because as I'm, again, very creative and I'm just going for it, she brings structure to my life. So if we can find, again, the marriage between both worlds, I think we can have a very good educational system.
Great. So, you know, he came, he thought, he saw, he conquered, and I will be telling you about his solution to revolutionizing higher education in Africa through skills development. Be right back, I'll tell you more about this. Welcome back on AAU Talks, the voice of higher education in Africa. And before we went on a break, we were about to talk about the Taft College story. So I tell you that there is an establishment that is an embodiment of this solution, trying to find the gaps. He found the gaps, and then this is the solution. So Rev, tell us about Taft College and how do you position this as a panacea to these challenges that you saw from afar? And how is it making an impact now?
Okay. So Taft College was birthed out of solving the problem. I relocated to Ghana last year with my entire family.
Sure.
We're going to work on a real estate project. We got here in May. The city was like 1 to 7. I think in September it just went to 1 to 10, and the whole thing changed. All my partners pulled out. I've relocated. Dogs are gone. My shoes are here, family's here, kids in school. What do you do? And, you know, I was sitting at home and I realized I was not the only one in that predicament. I'm unemployed now. And there's a million of people who are unemployed as well. So I thought, why not bring a solution to those who are unemployed? And I believe the only way we could do that is through skills development and training. Because the world in which we're going in now, or we've entered into now, is not just about what you know, but it's what you do with what you know. Okay? My personal assistant, right, is a graduate from university. Okay, he's graduated with business and administration. But when I met him, he was an Uber driver. Could you imagine? And we have a million and one of those people who are just sitting around looking for something to do, but he has no skills development. So I just said to myself, okay, maybe you might get the job you're looking for one day in that big office. But until then, what are you going to eat?
Yeah.
So why don't we set up an institution that is relevant and that solves the problem of unemployment. It tackles so many social issues, social mobility, women, gender equality, and it goes on and on. So that's what Taft College is becoming a solution to a problem in our everyday lives. So then I decided, what can we do? I took 10 different subjects. We thought, okay, let's be unique.
Yeah.
Leap position.
Yeah.
Our USP. I'm a creative director. I did from virtual reality and that sort of thing at university. And I also did a bit of design management as well.
Sure.
So I just said, why don't I put the two worlds together and have a school that doesn't just focus on the creative skill, but also looks at the business side of a person. Because we're living in a very interesting age of social media.
Yeah.
You can become a digital nomad. You could be living in Ghana and you could be working with people in Australia.
Yeah.
So why don't I train freelancers so that you can be sitting on the beach and working, making some euros, some pounds in Ghana, and not even getting the Ghanaian city thing. And that is what freelancing could do. Freelancing is a breakthrough, because if you look at China was they're like the factory of the world.
Yeah.
You know, Asia is like, let's put it this way, the tech, you know, IT, you know, continent of the world. And also they focus a lot on textiles. In Africa, I believe there's two things that we could focus on. We could focus on agriculture because we have arable lands. And we can also focus on freelancing.
Sure.
Because the freelancer in Africa, right, will be paying about 500 Ghana cedis for the apartment, as compared to the freelancer in London who's spending £1,000, okay, for the apartment. The person who is charging £1,000 obviously has to charge you more money than the person who is earning 500. Okay? So at any given time, African freelancers can undercut every freelancer in America or in London because of their high standard of living.
Yeah.
But we cannot do that because we are not well trained and we're not skilled. So if we have more institutions focusing on how we can give our students, you know, the best training to become freelancers, I think we'll be able to, you know, undercut so many of these freelancers out there, and all the monies will come together, because you need to understand the businessman is just thinking about profit.
Yeah. And one would want to understand the whole organization and systemic running of the Freelancers College that you're running. How does it run? How does it work? How do you get people to train? Tell us about it.
Okay, so it's a very simple concept. We decided, again, as I told you, to train these individuals, high school dropouts, those who are in a dead-end job, sick and tired of doing a corporate lifestyle. I met a lady the other day. She used to work in one of those big, tel companies, and she now has a nails company and beautician thing, and she's having so much fun doing that. So these are the kind of people we're targeting. So this organization, we have 10. The school, we have 10 classes that we work on, that we teach our students, from graphic design to cosmetology to music production, classical music production. We also look at fashion design, photography. We even do real estate marketing and management. So our real estate course, we just don't do as a realtor. We teach you creative financing. We teach you how to new build development. We teach you how to become a realtor. We teach you facility management. So it's a very comprehensive courses, because our approach is, when you leave our school, you need to be able to go out there and start a business for yourself. So we also teach them. We have a course that we partnered with an institution in London, and we came up with a course called the Freelancers course. And that's 15 different modules. So we teach you the rudimentary principles of business. We also teach you bookkeeping, accounting, and all the great stuff. We also teach you marketing, branding. Then we teach you soft skills. Soft skills are integral to a person, because your hard skills will get you the job, but the soft skills will keep the client.
There's always been contention about, how do you teach people how to adapt these soft skills? How do you do it over there?
It's very, very, very easy. You have to be intentional. We need to understand, big problem we have in Ghana is customer services.
Yeah.
A lot of my diaspora friends, they come to Ghana like, what is this?
Yeah.
You tell someone to come in at 4 o'clock and they come in at 6 o'clock. The saddest thing is, you go to, it's a plague. When someone tells you to went to an event this Friday, it was supposed to start at 7 o'clock. It started at 9:30. So by the time we finished, it was almost, 12 o'clock at night. I mean, it's not a nightclub. So these are all soft skills, and it's like embedded in our culture that when someone says come in, come 2 hours later. And it's really slowing us down, and we are unable to work with people in the diaspora because we don't have these, soft skills acquisition. Critical thinking is a big problem. Problem solving is a big problem.
Yeah.
People can't problem solve. They solve a problem with a bigger problem. Try taking your car to the mechanic and you come up with a worse problem. A friend of mine went to clean his engine, and then now the car is not moving. So what do? So we have to be very, very intentional and find out what the root causes of these problems are. So in our school, the first thing we do before you even touch anything creative is we take you on a boot camp, 3 months boot camp, where we teach you soft skills, we teach you again the rudimentary principles of business, we teach you leadership, and then most of all we teach you artificial intelligence, because you can't live these days without artificial intelligence. Every small SME needs a level of artificial intelligence to start off with. You cannot even hire a lawyer. You can't do your accounts. You cannot hire an accountant. But with ChatGPT and other AI tools, you can be very productive.
Who should partner with Tough College, and for what reasons?
In what terms? Financially?
No, I mean, someone wants to be with Tough College because they love the vision. Who are you targeting? Who are you inviting on board to join your bandwagon? And for what reason should they join Tough College? Because of the dream you're chasing or what you want to impact?
Okay, let's put it this way. Our school is we're looking at it from twofold. Our school is a tuition-free education that we provide in Ghana. A lot of people do not have the money to go to school. They sat at home doing nothing. I have a medical student who was kicked out of his exam hall. His father died, could not afford to pay for it, his way, and he was writing an exam. They came and they kicked him out. He's been at home for 5 years doing nothing. He saw an ad, tuition-free education, Tough College, and he applied, and he's in there, and he's now studying real estate management because he wants to do that as a side hustle so that he can go get some money to go back to school. Now, I personally am. People think I'm crazy. Why are you doing such a thing? When I was in London and I was about to I received a tuition-free scholarship to go to America to study. So I realized how beneficial it was for me, because most of my friends in school, even in America, were kicked out of school because they could not even afford the fees. Until, obviously, they went home, gathered some money together, and they came back and paid for the school fees. So what we did was we created a tuition-free education whereby our students can, come to school and not worry about, being kicked out of school, but they can just focus on their education. So we can partner in both ways. You like the concept and you want to support us to make the dreams change the trajectory of people's lives, you can always give us a financial contribution. If you want to come and partner with us, because we do lots of mentoring. Our school is in threefold. We have lecturers who lecture. We have mentors who mentor the students, get them industry ready. And we also have celebrity influencers who come in and do master classes. So they come in and they come and do these master classes, and they show them all the shortcuts of creativity and how they can get there quicker, because we want them to do something. What took them 5 years, we're trying to get them to do it in 1 year. So you can partner with us as with mentorship. You can partner with us as financially. And you can partner with us to become a student. Yeah,
great. It's so interesting where you can find a tuition-free institution in Ghana, and the good thing about it is that you also have the room to acquire skill and make a difference, and you have all these in one pack: masterclasses, mentorships, and also skill developments, all at your space. If you were to call on anyone out there to either be the students or to partner, what message is it for anyone out there to know about Tough College? I know there's more to know about Tough College, but if you were to put the message out there, what should you know about Tough College and why you should come on board now? What would that message be?
I mean, I do both for the financiers and and to the students. It's very important because what we're doing, needs finances. And MasterCard Foundation, I'll call them out. UNESCO, all those guys, come and see what we're doing. Go on our website, www.toughcollege.com. Just breeze through, just come and just see what we are doing and how we are impacting lives. So it's very, very important that Without the finances, we are very limited. You know, lectures have to be, the lights need to be turned on, the rooms are AC'd. You know, we have so many things we want to do. We have a crush that we want to set up for, you know, because we have the gender balance. We have and we have the 50% of our students, we want them to be women. So we have the women in creativity concept. We have people in there who have babies and we don't even know what to do with. You know, we tried to, you know, do a makeshift crash and as a, you know, but we're doing our best. You know, we want to set up a canteen for students who want to, you know, so they can eat that. They don't need to go out there, get a good meal. And there's so much we could do. So financially, you know, just come and really support us. But students wise, if you're sick and tired of being sick and tired and the going gets tough, just remember, tough will get you going. Come to us and we'll support you and we'll try to bring your dreams to fruition. If you've always wanted to be a fashion designer, come to us. We would help you. If you want to be a music producer, you want to be the next Hammer, okay? Next JQ, just come and see us and we will bring your creative skills to life.
Absolutely. I think that tough colleges, that's dreamland. You just, if you don't really, in a haste to chase your dreams, don't go there. But if you're really thirsty to reach your dreams everywhere possible, then you should make your way to Tough College. And I find Tough College as the revolutionary. I mean, the beginning of a new phase of higher education in Africa, where skill development is at the base of your studies, nothing else. And that's what we need in our continent. It's been a great time with you, Rev, and I believe that you'll be fulfilled and you'll be filled with so much of ideas and turning around the wheels of higher education in Africa. And I count so much on you for all these ideas. And you too as well. Make a step. If you're looking to touch your dream, visit the website Tough College and find out what you can also acquire through the space of Tough College. Be safe, have a nice day, and bye.